There's a lot of stuff you can do at the post office. Buy stamps and mail letters, take a passport photo, collect free priority mailboxes that you're definitely using to ship stuff and not just store things in your closet with. And if you're in France, you can even try on a pair of pants. Huh? You're looking at what resembles a giant yellow French mailbox, but no, that's instead a changing room inside of a French post office. Yes, a private space at the post office where you're encouraged to unbox yourself. Because as I'm sure you're aware, one problem with buying clothing online is you can't try it on right away. Now this is a bad example because I knew exactly what this would look like. Bad. But if I wanted to see what this t-shirt looked like on me without me buying it first online, I'd probably have to make my way all the way to Orange, Connecticut between the hours of 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. to visit the Pez Visitor Center, where I might be able to throw it on, but people would probably end up asking me about my Pez collection. I don't actually have one. Anyway, for years, retailers have been trying to solve the problem of how to best serve online customers who want to try on some clothes. Some companies have developed virtual fitting rooms. Here's one where I've given them my ideal measurements. I swear these are real. And from there, I can throw some shirts onto a virtual mannequin. This isn't quite the real thing, but hey, as a tall guy, at least it's accurately showing that once again, the sleeves are probably gonna be too short. Over in Europe, some places like Tommy Hilfiger have been working with tech companies to develop augmented reality mirrors. So people can virtually try on clothing. That reminds everyone that the 90s are never going away. But with this pilot program carried out by France's Poste, this post office that's taking part in this test has come up with a slightly more traditional innovation, an analog changing room. So, if you've got an online clothing order, rather than having it first get dropped off by a postal worker for you to then try it on and then decide, no, this doesn't suit me, only for you then to pack it back up and make your way to the shipping place, or one of those weird return label places where like the stationery store down the street somehow accepts your sweater, people who live near this French post office can instead try on their clothes inside of this cute little yellow room with a chair, mirror, and shelf for your package. And from there, you can either walk out with your brand new beret or whatever, or if it doesn't look so hot, you can package it right back up and send it back to Madeline. The post office is trying this out simply to save people time and cut back on pointless trips back and forth. Oh, and they also hope it'll increase post office traffic, which according to this report in The Guardian by the French press, the news agency, not the coffee maker, the French Retailers Association says this project is causing deep displeasure about small independent retailers and poses serious risks to the vibrancy of local economies if it is rolled out nationally. Believe it or not, I hired a real Frenchman to read that. But it is worth pointing out that post offices around the world do a lot more things than our trusty USPS does here in the States. France's post office, for instance, offers senior services. For a small monthly fee, a postal worker will check in on an older relative for what this translation says is a friendly and benevolent exchange, which they say can help create social bonds and break loneliness. Compare that to here in the States, where we're sending people robots to do that same kind of thing.
What do you think the meaning of life is?
The Australia Post, meanwhile, offers banking services, where people can deposit money, withdraw cash, or check account balances right at the post office, without having to go to some bank, which they say is a huge benefit to rural customers. Here in the USA, as noted by the USPS, we actually used to have a postal savings system in place to help people save money who didn't have access to banks until it went away in the 1960s. And while a few pilot locations recently tried bringing back some postal banking solutions, it hasn't gone so hot. Anyway, for now, this French dressing pilot appears to be pouring out just smoothly, in spite of retailers' concerns that people are hanging around the post office too much instead of taking off shirts in their buildings. But when you consider that here in the USA, the 2021 return rate was more than 16% of all retail sales, and all sorts of online companies are cutting back on things like free returns, maybe those investments into figuring out whether something is going to fit before you buy it isn't such a bad idea. Though when you lie about your weight, it shouldn't be a huge surprise when it doesn't work out.